nice applause there. The audience was really quite interested in when we made the announcement last week. We told you were coming on the show, so we got a lot of fan mail, and that was terrific.
Very cool.
But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Ray, and our guest today is Smokey Miles. And Smokey has a new CD coming out. It's called Waiting for the Hurricane. And he's here live and in color with us tonight. Smoke, it's good to see you. And, you know, I wanted to ask you, when did you start actually writing songs and playing music and so forth? I mean, I've seen your credits on so many CDs or in some of the music videos and etc. So I'm wondering, when did you really start doing this?
Oh, I was a kid, Ray. I started getting melodies coming in my head, and I started playing on a zither. I was about 4, making up little ditties. And then when I was about 10 or 11, I started making some parodies. And then about 14 or 15, started writing full songs.
Well, that's great. Did you ever have any other artists record any of your songs at that time? Or were you just doing just little shows and so forth?
I was doing shows, and then I did a lot of theatrical stuff in college. Had songs in big musical reviews, and then I came to New York and went on TV, played some ballad I wrote about Bobby Fischer, the chess champion, was on the news, and then somehow. The recording contracts, in those days they were actual recording contracts, mostly they eluded me, but I kept writing songs anyway, doing lots and lots of shows. I mean, I got signed by a few people, and it just didn't come out.
Oh, well, obviously you did a lot of shows. Who were some of the people you were with? I mean, what did you do? Who did you appear with?
Well, I was working with Vassar Clements. I worked with Louisiana Red. Odetta, the great folk singer, appeared with Screamin' Jay Hawkins, Jimmy Bad Boy Jones later on.
Oh, nice lineup there.
Ronnie Blakely. I worked with the Scruggs people.
You work with some of what we call the heavies. Louisiana Red is very popular and down through the South. He's a great artist. We wish we could get him here, but we don't even know where he is. Or if he still is. Well, I mean, now that you did this, I saw you, and your video was very popular with Bob Dylan. You worked with him, and how was that? Was that an interesting experience working with Bob? I mean, did you ever work with him before or whatnot? Did you know Bob or anything?
It was an absolutely fantastic experience. It was kind of a reunion. I had met Bob when I was a kid up in Woodstock, New York. And I ended up house sitting for him, taking care of his house during the summer of the Woodstock Festival. And we jammed over the years from time to time. I played him the first songs I wrote in his living room. And he encouraged me to keep playing and recording and singing and writing. And then I hadn't seen him in a number of years and ended up on the video. So
did he ask for you, or did they know, that you were, knew him?
No, they didn't know. Apparently, the director was just liked the way I looked, and I had an accordion. They were looking for an accordion player, and they hired me. And Bob was completely surprised to see me there. And we had just a great time between takes, jamming, singing together. It was fantastic. We did a show for the cast and crew and just for ourselves. Wow. Playing the accordion and the two of us singing. So
too bad we don't have that on tape. I'm sure that everybody would love to see that.
But the video is great. It's up on YouTube called Must Be Santa. It was kind of a big video for this last holiday season. I think it'll be a classic, actually.
Well, that's great. Well, let me ask you this. You said accordion. Do you play any other instruments or anything? I mean, you mentioned when you were a kid you were writing songs.
Yeah. I took a few accordion lessons, and then I picked up the guitar, the harmonica, banjo, dulcimer, oud, some Middle Eastern instruments, Turkish zaz, played some hand drums. But mostly I stick with the guitar, harmonica, and the accordion.
Well, only thing you missed was tissue paper and a comb.
I like tissue paper and a comb, but a kazoo works better.
Works better. I imagine that it would. Did you ever do any dramatic roles or anything else like that? Since you've done all these videos and shows, did you ever get, want to leap over to that side of the fence?
Well, actually, I speaking of Bob Dylan, I did a one-man show in San Francisco playing Bob Dylan. It was an authorized rock musical, the world's only authorized rock musical. And so our paths had crossed. This was in the 80s. Musical director was Bob Johnston, who produced about 8 of Dylan's albums, and was not an impersonation. It was kind of a portrayal of Dylan through his words and music up until then, multimedia experience.
Yeah, well, Bob Johnson is a well-known guy. He was a Nashville guy, and I met Bob several times myself. So you had to, you any other actors that you performed with, of any, dramatic guys?
I worked in New York with Rip Torn and Geraldine Page in the theater. I was a musical director when Rip was doing a show called Terrible Jim Fitch.
I remember that show.
And
it was terrible.
No, it was a good show, actually. But it was a show. It was a one act, and Rip had asked me to do music that went with it, so I did the first act as a musical act. So I guess it wasn't dramatic, but I was around that, and then some people in the actor's studio, and when I was going there and helping them out with sound in New York.
Oh.
And then I've worked on music videos lately with Jamie Foxx, Slum Village.
How was that working with Jamie?
Oh, he's great.
He's got to be, Jamie has a reputation of being quite a prankster.
Well, he was very cool on the set, and he was playing some piano. He's a very talented musician.
Well, of course, we got to remember he did Ray Charles, but
I
wasn't
excellent.
Sure.
Excellent. This was a video called Extravaganza, and I've done work with. I played a record executive in a music video by Slum Village, a rap group out of Detroit, and that got a lot of play. And then I've just worked in several movies. I had a lead role in a movie called Seven Deadly Sins, inside the Ecom cult.
Well, was there any any music for that, rather?
Actually, for the Seven
Deadly Sins, because I remember there was only one Seven Deadly Sins LP that was out, and that was by one of our guests, Michael Lewis, did that.
Oh, really? Well, this is a new movie directed by Kevin Shawn Michaels, who did the Vampire documentary, and I'm playing a cult leader.
Ah.
Now, in the course of the movie, most of it was improvised, so a lot of it I'm making up songs on the spot and playing some songs that I'd written already. Also, a lot of poetry and improvisation with.
Well, that sounds like a lot of fun.
Right, and then I just did a movie which I think is at this point untitled. Ronnie Blakely, who's the star of Nashville, nominated for Academy Award, Robert Altman's Nashville, directed a movie where I'm playing her daughter. And I'm a musician and an actor, basically.
Fabulous. It sounds like you're really getting out there, Smokey. Now, tell me a little bit about Waiting for the Hurricane. I mean, is there, I'm sure that, how many songs are in that particular CD that you're going to have, which I'm sure is going to be one of the more exciting pieces of music since I haven't heard it, I will admit, but I'm looking forward to, I do have it.
Well, there are 12 songs. They were handpicked. They're my songs. I was very fortunate in working with a legend, musical legend, Mr. Otis Blackwell. He wrote Elvis Presley's biggest hits, Don't Be Cruel, All Shook Up, Great Balls of Fire, Fever, Handyman. And Otis felt that he wanted to produce and discover some new artists. And so he heard some of my songs and said, let me hear some more. And I gave him a few demos. He says, pick this. Let's go in the studio and do it. And
Fabulous.
Went down to Nashville.
Fabulous.
Recorded with some really great musicians down there in Sound Shop. And
now, is it is it a lot of tracks, strings, or anything else like that, or is it all straight acoustic or guitar, or guitar, piano, or something? What is the instrumentation of most of the material?
It's basically, I mean, I'm singing, playing guitar, and we had some terrific musicians on it, playing guitar, keyboard, bass, drums, some trumpets. But basically, it's the kind of album that we could recreate live. In other words, with a band. Or I could perform the song solo.
Well, I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be looking forward to see hear Smokey Miles, Waiting for the Hurricane CD. We're going to have Smokey back to talk more about it or tell us some future things that he's going to be doing. And we do want you to come back, Smoke. So
that'd be my pleasure.
Yeah, I look forward to having you back on the show again. And in the meantime, don't you have an alter ego? I'm not sure. Maybe someone told me that. I don't know whether you do or not. But anyway, we'll have to find out when the great Smokey Miles comes back and maybe perhaps gives us a little solo performance of Waiting for the Hurricane. Thank you, Smoke.
I looked out my window, the clouds were hanging low. The twisted, tortured landscape was like a painting by Van Gogh. The seagulls flew in spirals with a strange, eerie din. They disappeared and you could hear every change in the wind. While we're waiting for the hurricane, waiting for the hurricane, waiting for the hurricane to begin. Well, the sea begins a-raging and the ground starts to rock. All doors are flung wide open, they're unhinged at the lock. The shepherd brings his sheep to shelter, each creature seeks its twin. But the sky's so dark and cloudy now, you can't see anything. While we're waiting for the hurricane, waiting for the hurricane, waiting for the hurricane to begin.